It started with an unexpected flash in the blackness, a flash of light so great and brilliant that it drowned out all other light in the darkened sky. Initially, astronomers thought it a glitch, either a fault in their equipment or a fault in the detectors. But within hours, the reality came forth. There had been a detection of a huge body, something almost 100 times bigger and brighter than 3I Atlas, and it was en route directly for the sun, on a course close enough to Earth's own to send shivers down astronomers' spines. Officially named C/2125R2, but already nicknamed the Swan, the interstellar traveler shook the scientific world to its core. Its return sparked the sort of wonder and speculation that had not been heard since the discovery of Oumuamua. The Swan's glowing tail swept across the sky, 5 times as wide as the full moon, a wound in the heavens cut out of darkness, unmissable. But behind its stunning beauty was something infinitely more disturbing, growing evidence that this was no ordinary comet, but something old, potent, and perhaps designed. When the Swan was first detected on September 12, 2025, it immediately bucked assumptions. Most comets are faint, ghostly bodies, detectable only by high-magnification telescopes. The Swan, however, glowed splendidly even through the lens of amateur instruments. Within 2 days, high-resolution images showed a tail so enormous that 3I Atlas's faint filament looked like a flickering ember next to a blazing fire. The scientists immediately understood that this was not just a matter of size, but scale. The brightness of the object suggested an energy output much greater than what natural sublimation of ice and dust could account for. In place of violent dust clouds, the Swan produced a focused, patterned jet, narrow, constant, and uncannily precise, as if it were guided. Its contents further darkened the enigma. Spectral examination uncovered peculiar signatures of nickel, cobalt, and plasma chemistry contradictory to any familiar natural phenomenon. Rumors started to swell in the scientific community, hesitant, unwilling, but insistent. Was the Swan a machine? A construct of immense scale that had traversed interstellar space to arrive at this exact moment in human history? If you're already questioning the sky, you are not alone, because what followed only heightened the unease. The timing of the Swan's arrival was the most chilling aspect of all. Just as 3I Atlas approached its own perihelion, the Swan descended along an entirely separate trajectory. However, both bodies were to cross the sun within a few days of each other, 50 million kilometers apart, a cosmic hairbreadth by astronomical measurement. For several weeks in October, both would be lost behind the sun's scorching brilliance, out of reach of all the telescopes on Earth. What could happen during those hidden weeks has become a cause of mounting fear. Would the two interstellar visitors be able to interact gravitationally, or in some other way beyond our comprehension? Would they change each other's course, or, worse, crash into each other, scattering extraterrestrial wreckage across the solar system? Some scientists suggest something much more intentional, that this is not chance at all, but coordination, the alignment of two artificial bodies colliding at our star, as part of a mission older than human civilization. For thousands of years, we have believed the universe was quiet. But silence, it turns out, doesn't equal absence. Perhaps it equals anticipation. And maybe, after all the millennia, waiting is finished. If 3I Atlas already made scientists nervous with its nickel content and seeming 10 gigawatt power output, then the Swan has amplified those anxieties exponentially. Initial estimates have its center potentially generating more than 10,000 gigawatts of power per second, about the entire energy demand of human civilization distilled into a single interstellar body. Its luminescent plasma sheath appears to deflect solar particles with an almost artistic sophistication, something never seen in cometary physics before. Aromatic changes in brightness expose rhythmic pulses of guided propulsion, evidencing not random outgassing but purposeful navigation. To those observing, it does not look like a comet, it looks like a leviathan, a fortress sailing through space, controlling its surroundings by design. If 3I Atlas was a scout, the Swan is the warship, a gargantuan ship of power, its intentional trajectory unsetting even the most cynical onlookers. Even more incredible is the hypothesis that the Swan is not an inaugural visitor. NASA's orbital simulations suggest the likelihood that it is a returning traveler, caught in an ancient cycle occurring about every 22,000 years. If this is the case, it would have last crossed close to the sun at the end of the last ice age when early man was chiseling monuments and mapping their megaliths onto the stars. A few researchers, bordering on speculation, note the orientation of the Great Pyramids, Göbekli Tepe, and other ancient monuments with Orion and other stars as possible indicators, warning signs left for descendants who would eventually see the same celestial phenomenon. And now, as the swan streaks across the night sky, its radiant tail brighter than any in the living memory of man, those echoes of the old return, might this object be part of a cosmic rhythm man once knew, and has since lost? Is its return coincidence, or an arranged event tied into the fabric of the cosmos itself? And if it did return, the one question that keeps scientists up at night is simple: why, as the month of October approaches, a common dread settles over the astronomical community? For weeks on end, both the Swan and 3I Atlas will be obscured by the sun, dropping out of reach for every human device. It will be an absolute blackout, an instant where the universe really does draw the curtain shut. No satellite, probe, or telescope will be able to see them. Mankind will be blind and left to wait as the two most enigmatic interstellar objects to have ever been seen vanish from view. When they return, their paths could be forever changed. Will they speed up, slow down, or veer onto completely new trajectories? Might they collide, or come into view together on some choreographed path? Others whisper that the blackout itself could be deliberate, an interval of concealment when something beyond human understanding takes place, an exchange, a change, or a message sent without us seeing. Whatever transpires in those secret weeks, humankind will wait silently, praying that when the light resumes, it does not bear something much worse than we thought. What actually sets the Swan apart from any comet ever observed is not merely its enormous size or its phenomenal luminosity, but its conduct. Comets in nature are erratic, releasing gas sporadically as they spin, their tails curving and breaking under solar gusts. The Swan, though, is unsettlingly decorated. Its emissions are regular and methodical, its tail holding in flawless, beam-like shape. Brightness changes take place at regular intervals, a behavior that implies timing too precise to attribute to chance. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has speculated that these periodic pulses could be signals of thrust modulation, purposeful propulsion. If so, then the Swan is not a free-flying piece of ice and dust but a controlled craft, maybe a probe, or something much more complex. Its power output, its plasma shielding, and its unique nickel-cobalt plasma composition all suggest a technology beyond any natural cometary paradigm. The Swan is no accident of nature. It radiates purpose. Speculation now circles the relationship between 3I Atlas and the Swan. Could it really be coincidence that two interstellar bodies, both record-breaking in size and conduct, appeared within weeks of one another, hurtling towards the sun nearly at the same time? Numerous scientists think the pattern too conspicuous to disregard. 3I Atlas, diminutive and fainter, could have been a pathfinder, an independent scout whose job was to test conditions within our solar system, taking data or breaking ground for something bigger. The Swan, with all its power and majesty, seems to be a command vessel, riding in the wake of the probe to take that data, retrieve the probe, or begin a second phase of some long-forgotten mission. Others posit that the two might not even have the same origin, that they might be adversaries, machines from rival powers, coming towards our sun not through coordination but through confrontation. There, the sun itself is not a stage, but the objective, a source of power, or perhaps a doorway to something more. As the Swan approaches its perihelion, its orbit grazes perilously close to Earth's orbital radius of 150 million kilometers, the very distance that sustains our planet. For a short and humility-filled instant, this fiery giant will sail over the threshold of our cosmic doorstep, a glowing fortress bigger than any comet in human history. Its presence is almost palpable, as if to remind us how ephemeral our existence really is. Throughout the world, old terrors are refreshed. For thousands of years, comets were omens, harbingers of transformation, destruction, and renewal. And now, with one object emitting structured power and another close on its heels, that omen weighs more than ever. For the first time, man is not simply watching the heavens, but being watched. The Swan's presence confronts us with a chilling possibility that our solar system is not isolated, not arbitrary, but part of a grand and ancient stage upon which greater intelligences play out their plans. These powers have probably been traversing time and space long before our own kind even started looking up. And now, finally, we are seeing observers to a meeting scripted into the very fabric of the universe. The Swan is not an everyday comet. It is a Leviathan, a creation 100 times greater and brighter than anything previously monitored, traveling with impossible accuracy, emitting fueled energy, and aligning with 3I Atlas at the very core of our solar system. The chances of this happening by coincidence are against logic, and yet look, two interstellar travelers, coming in together, disappearing behind the sun, and ready to reappear, hopefully changed, on the other side.